Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Friday get together. What's new and coming up with Lipedema? I'm Leslyn Keith with the Lipedema Project, and I'm here with my friends and colleagues. Catherine, say hi.
Hi, everyone. It's great to see you. Make sure you put who you are in the chat and where you're from so we can say hi. Oh, I'm sorry. We're a tiny bit late.
That was my fault. They decided to wait for me. I got hung up on a work call.
Yeah, we've already got someone posting. Has it started yet? So, yeah, we were a little bit late today. But that's our colleague, Siobhan. Go ahead and say hi, too.
Hi.
It's always worth the wait for Siobhan to get here because she's got some good stuff for you guys today. We like to use this Friday get together to give you just some announcements on things that are new and coming up, but also we like to devote some times to just some tips and tools that can help you with managing your own or your loved one's lipedema. And Siobhan's got some good stuff for us today. Thank you, Marcia, for posting where you're there in Texas. Love to have you post and just say you're here. And also, if you say where you are in the world, that's always fun to see where everybody's listening to us from. I know I've got a Facebook user who said hi, and someone else that I'm not sure your name, Fizz431, that you're here with us. So be sure to post something and say hi. Gail is not with us today. She's on vacation. But as Gail always says, we like when you send those hearts, send us some love. So, post some hearts for us so we know that everybody's feeling good who's with us here today. So, one of the big things we got coming up that is happening is a CSIG, a coaching special interest group that's going to be focusing on the holistic approach for managing lipedema. It's starting this Monday, and this Monday actually is a free webinar to talk about, well, the holistic approach in general, but also to introduce the course to you if you're interested in taking that class. So it's going to be happening on Mondays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. Catherine, can you post what the title of it is as well? There's going to be a link down below for you to register for the informational webinar and also to register for the course. So it's a holistic approach. There's more to you than meets the eye. Catherine, you want to say a few words about this really great special interest group?
Yes. It's, how can I phrase this? I'm so focused, and so many of us are so focused on how can we make it physically better. How can I lose weight? I've been trying to lose weight forever. And, it's like round and round and round because I have some additional issues. Like, and, so we make ourselves crazy, or at least I do. I don't know about you, but I do. So, one of the things that we talk about often is that we are multidimensional people. We are multidimensional women. That, yes, the physical is important, but so is the mental and psychological, so is the emotional, the spiritual, and the social. It's so much of the social interaction that makes us keep coming back. I was saying to someone today, we have the most amazing group of women in our community that show up, and I say to people, oh my God, you've heard me make the same presentation 100 times. And they're like, oh no, it's okay. I always get something new. But we're going to be looking at this whole notion of there's more to each and every one of us than we can see, and delving into that and how we can apply the holistic approach. So the webinar on Monday, the 31st, let me just go back here. So it's going to be the intro session. So you don't have to be signed up to do the intro session. You can come and do the intro session. If you like it, you can sign up and do the rest. If you don't want to do it, then you don't have to do it. And there's a group that's already signed up, and we're going to be goal setting and saying to you, which we say all the time, is that no two women are alike. We're each unique. Everyone has to be. That's one of the things that Siobhan has brought um, into our work, is this notion of citizen science. N equals one, which means you are your own laboratory. So what we're going to be doing is working with you so that you begin to define what's good for your body.
Yeah, and just to add to that, the way that I tend to think about it is like the goal is not to manage lipedema. Like, yes, that is definitely something we want to happen. We want to be able to successfully manage. But the real goal is to have a life beyond having lipedema, have hobbies, explore fashion, have self-confidence, get into the dating world if you're into that. Like all of this stuff, nurture successful relationships and friendships and all of this stuff. And like sometimes when we come into lipedema, it can be this crisis point of I need to do something to manage this. I can't let it progress any further. I want to get as healthy as possible. But there is other stuff beyond that. And we can start working on all of those things from the very beginning. So yes, working on the physical management, but also building up supportive relationships, getting in touch with the community, working on our own body image, working on celebrating our bodies, even if we have goals and we want to look a certain way or get certain, like, I don't want my legs to be as red and inflamed. We can still nurture that body and celebrate it for being with us through this whole thing. And it's something I've appreciated working with this as well, is seeing people flourish and explore fashion and explore celebration and hobbies and get back to living again.
Mhm.
Uh,
And Siobhan, you will
well
be
stated.
doing a special presentation on one of the days as part of this CSIC, right?
Yeah, and with that, I will be talking about a physical aspect, which is nutrition. But I'll be talking about it in terms of how can we support our bodies in a way that's going to be healthy for us, because a lot of us do have diet histories and poor relationships with food, and that's another aspect that we want to work on repairing. And then a couple of things in terms of how can we think about supporting our body when we're going through these other physical things. MLD, for example, it can cause fluid fluctuations. How can we deal with that? If you're doing anything regarding fibrosis breakdown, what are some things to think about in regards to that? So I'll be exploring a little bit more in depth. I've talked about some of it before, but some of it's going to be new because I always like to explore new topics with you guys.
So if you have any further questions that maybe you've been studying lipedema for a long time, or you are new to lipedema, this is the class for you, because we're going to be exploring everything from the beginner perspective, but also, even as Siobhan says, she's going to be throwing in some new stuff because we're always finding out new stuff. So this is also good for the veteran who's been dealing with this for a long time. And it's also just to be there for the fellowship, to be there with other women who have similar concerns as you. Um, I just want to say hi also to Cheryl, is here from Wisconsin. Angela says hi. Oh, Carol, you're also in Wisconsin. That's great. And Marcia, she said she's lost 12 pounds. Paige is here. Jane is here from Newfoundland. Julie is here from North Carolina. Um, yeah, a lot of people are posting in there. Thank you so much for letting us know you're here and you're listening and where you are in the world. Catherine, anything else you want to say about this free webinar and the course coming up?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. If you're on the fence, come check it out, because sometimes it is challenging to make the kind of changes that we often suggest. But you don't have to do more than you want to do. We're very low key, if you haven't noticed. we're not very pushy. So we're like, come, because it's for you. It's for you because you're important.
Mhm.
So that's it.
And
Yeah,
everybody's
I
in a
agree.
different place. And so come here, come as you are in the place that you're at. And that's where we want to meet you, is wherever you're at.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
one thing, I'm
Mhm.
going to do it right now.
Mhm.
Angela is running a fundraiser for us. And she
Yes.
says, have you checked your mail? It says your item arrived. I've been in meetings all afternoon. I'm going to go check my mail and I'll go see if my item arrived, because if it's there, I can share it with you.
Uh-huh.
So I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah. And while she goes and does that, I just wanted to echo what she was saying because, I mean, come to the free session for sure. And sometimes when you do that, you'll get this feeling like, okay, I'm ready. And you can go ahead and sign up. In other cases, you get a feeling like I'm already overwhelmed with everything else I'm doing. I'm not ready to do one more thing. And that's perfectly fine. With lipedema, there's also a lot to process, a lot to go through. And if you're not ready, the good thing is we'll be here when you are. So
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
Yeah. It's sometimes can be information overload. So, and some people are in that fact finding mode. And other people are in the, well, I've decided that I want to take action, but I want to do a little bit of preparation first. And some people are, I'm ready for action. Wherever you're at is the good place to be. And
Absolutely.
any of those stages or those places that you're at are going to be appropriate for this webinar and maybe even for this course, because our goal is to meet the needs of the people that are there and to wherever you're at. Looks like Catherine is back from checking her mail.
I decided we could open it together.
Nice.
Here
Okay.
is my wonderful package in bright pink. And it says, this package contains something awesome. I have to catch my breath because just walked into the mailbox because I'm dealing with central lymphatic issues.
Okay. So we'll keep on talking, Catherine, while you're doing that. You don't have to talk and open your package.
Okay, so I'll open my package.
Yes.
Because I want to share it and I want to see it.
So, and just a little bit more about what Angela is doing. Angela is doing a fundraiser to raise funds for lipedema research. We'll make sure that there's a link below so that if you want to participate, and what you're going to get by making a donation, you will get what Catherine is opening right now. And we're so grateful to people like Angela who take that initiative to support lipedema advocacy, to support lipedema research. And so Angela just did this on her own and wanted to set this up so that we can help move forward the information about lipedema and gathering data about that. So be sure and check out that fundraiser. And so now we're seeing what was in the package.
Oh my God, Angela, it's fabulous. The fabric is so soft. Oh my God, this is so wonderful. It says Lipedema Lady. Can you see it?
Yes, and it looks like nice and sparkly.
Oh, it is. It says Lipedema Lady. Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
And it has a purple butterfly and it's all sequins. Oh no, it's not sequins. It's, oh my God, it's like in the fabric. Okay, you guys saw it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it.
I'm gonna have to get one because I've been looking for more like oversized t-shirts like this one because I like wearing them with like compression or just tights.
Yeah.
I'm a little lazy.
And then there are all these stickers. I love
Ooh.
stickers.
Who doesn't love stickers?
Yeah,
I think adults should be given stickers when they do good things.
I think so too.
Thank you, Angela. Marilee is saying hi from the Pacific Northwest. And Paige is asking about watch parties, and maybe people can get together to be together for that webinar. It's coming up on Monday. And Angela says bling, so that you got your bling there. And Paige really loves the shirt.
I'm gonna get the link and put it in the chat.
Excellent. And while Catherine's doing that, Jan has a question. Do men get lipedema / lymphedema? Siobhan, do you want to take that question?
Yeah, so in terms of lymphedema, I think it is more common in women. Is that correct, Leslyn?
When you're talking about primary or hereditary lymphedema, it's actually more common in men. But
okay.
as far as secondary lymphedema, like due to cancer treatment or trauma or other reasons, it's pretty equal between men and women.
Okay, yeah. So it does happen in both. So depending on what's causing it, it seems to vary. In terms of lipedema, there are a couple of case reports, and I've heard from one clinician that they have seen it in men, but in all of those cases, the case reports and then the clinician perspective, it tends to come along with hormonal imbalances, so high estrogen and low testosterone. And from the clinician I talked to, when they did help their patient resolve the hormonal imbalance, typically the lipedema symptoms also went away as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another big reason it seems like there is a hormonal component to lipedema.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just to clarify, because the two disorders do sound very, very similar, lymphedema with a PH, that can happen in both men and women. Lipedema, it's almost exclusively women, but there can be men, if they have a hormonal imbalance, that can have lipedema. Okay, so excellent question. Thank you for asking that, Jan. And we do have posted the links to, if you want to participate in the fundraiser to help with lipedema research, that is down below. It's customcruisewear.com, lipedema awareness fundraiser. So follow that link and you can participate. Thank you so much, Angela. And then
Yeah.
Let me
And
say one
just
more
a quick
thing.
note.
yes,
I said it, but I want to say it again.
yes,
The fabric is so soft. I mean, it's not like, sometimes you get a t-shirt and it's like starched.
yeah.
This is really soft.
So Angela really used high quality
Yes.
t-shirt material. Check it out.
Yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention is there are a few different designs. So there's one that says "Someone I Love Has Lipedema." There's two different designs with that. There's a lipedema warrior one and a lipedema lady one, in case you don't identify as a lady. I personally don't think of myself as much of a lady. And then there's also some tumblers like for drinks, and also a key fob, like a little keychain type of thing.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so there's quite a few options there. And actually there's a ton more. I kept scrolling and saw more stuff. So yeah, definitely check that out and see if there's anything that you like. I'm going to get some stuff for sure.
Excellent. That's great. And besides letting you know things that are coming up and happening, like fundraisers and classes you can take, we also like to use this time together just to give you some tips and tools. And Siobhan had an excellent idea to talk a little bit today about fasting. And Siobhan, can you share with us what you were thinking about?
Yeah, and I know Catherine has experimented with this a little bit as well. But something that I found interesting is, like, over the course of my health journey, fasting has come in and out, just depending on where I was and what I was doing and what felt right to me at the time. And so earlier in my journey, when I had a lot of weight to lose, I did plenty of fasting, like 24 hours, 36 hours, 72 hours, a week at one point. And I also did 2 weeks later. Didn't like that one so much because I was smaller than before, so it wasn't as comfortable. And what I started doing a few months ago, probably like 4 or 5 months ago, is I had been doing alternate day fat fasting. And I found that was really beneficial in terms of reducing the swelling I was getting in my legs. But unfortunately, after say like a month of doing that, I found that it was getting uncomfortable. Like I would start doing the fast, I would start getting hungry, I would start obsessively thinking about food. And I always try to listen to my body when it's giving me that kind of feedback. So it's like, okay, let's not fast anymore. Let's take a break. But when I took the break, the swelling started to get worse again after about a month and a half. And so it's like, okay, is there some sort of middle point I can have here? And what I ended up doing was 1 meal a day with some supplemented fat throughout the day just to give me that extra energy. And I felt that that was as effective. So the swelling started to improve again as the alternate day. Um, so it's less fasting in a way. So eating once a day. And then eventually I found that I didn't need the added fat anymore. So I would just do 1 meal a day. And that's been really helpful for swelling for me. So I found that really cool because, not everybody with lipedema has weight to lose. The extra weight that they have may be coming from lipedema. They may not be able to access that. Long periods of fasting may not be comfortable for them. Or they may have other reasons like taking medications, stuff like that you have to eat. And it seems like just time restricted eating may be as helpful. And I'm sure you could comment more on this, Leslyn, in terms of why that is. But for me, I don't think it's so much like the insulin reaction because the food I'm eating shouldn't be doing much, but more putting less into the system and thus producing less lymph throughout the day. So it's more 1 meal, I have a lymph producing kind of event. And then the rest, it's kind of giving my body a break from having to transport all of that.
Letting it rest. Yeah. I mean, they talk about those two nervous systems. And one is, the more calming and rest and digest. And so when you're letting your body be in that mode for most of the time, for some people, that might be better. Other people, it might be instead of having just one big meal, maybe they need to have to digest a little bit less. And so they need to have 2 or even 3 meals. So that's what Catherine said at the beginning. Everybody's so different. I know that Catherine, you have quite a response to eating versus fasting. And so you've had to make changes in your own mode of eating and fasting.
I'd rather fast than anything else. But like Siobhan mentions, it's difficult over time. It depends on how long and the hunger cycles come and go. But the thing that I love about fasting is the swelling goes down.
Yeah.
I can be certain that the swelling will go down. Right now, I can say, you can see my arms. My arms are quite swollen, as is my face and my upper body, because I'm dealing with central lymphatic issues. And even though I'm doing a lot to keep things flowing, it's jammed. And until I get some medical intervention, surgical intervention, I have to keep dealing with this. My mind wants to just fast.
Yeah.
I mean, and I did for a long time. I was fasting and eating and fasting and eating and like that for months as I was trying to figure out what was going on. And what I found out that for me, it made more sense to stabilize my eating. So I'm very stable, eating small meals. And it seems to be helping.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, it is going to vary by person. So the reason I bring it up isn't to say, and everybody should do this. It's more like, if you wanted to experiment, here's another thing you can experiment with.
Yes.
But make sure you're keeping in check with your body. Yes, hunger can come and go when you initially get into the fast. But if that hunger is persistent and getting worse over time instead of receding after 15, 20 minutes, then I usually take that as a sign either I need more energy separately, so a fat bolus essentially, or I just shouldn't be fasting. And then thinking repeatedly about food throughout the fast, sometimes it can be psychological. I find that's actually an early hunger cue for me. Otherwise, I don't think about food at all. So just make sure you're paying attention. And if it doesn't feel right, just in the fast, you can always do it again later, experiment with it later, or not. It depends on the person. But for some people, it can be helpful for swelling. And for other people, like even unrelated to lipedema, I know other people who find that the smaller meals, 3 to 4 meals per day, is actually helpful for them. So yeah, it's another thing. How many meals are you eating? How much are you fasting? It's another one of those things that can be played around with.
Yes.
Yeah, and I found, again, I'm in a unique situation because I'm dealing with very specific issues with my central lymphatic system.
Mm-hmm.
That for the longest time I would do OMAD, 1 meal a day, and I actually like that because I happen to like volume. So I'd like to take what I would eat in 2 meals and put it in 1 meal, and because it satisfies my eating disorder. So, but anyway, I can't do that. And so what I had to do is I had to break up into 3 small meals, and that seems to be helping. So that's the thing of finding what's going to work for you and your body. And
Yeah.
it took me from November to end of June. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of months of trying a whole lot of different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I find for me, it just changes depending on what I'm working on and where my body's at that moment. 2 additional notes with this, though. If you are going to do 1 meal a day, just make sure you're eating enough. It's one thing I do have to keep an eye on when doing this, is that I am getting enough food in during that meal.
Right.
Because if I chronically undereat, one of the first things that starts popping up is I'll have trouble getting to sleep at night.
Yes.
Amber O'Hearn has a great presentation on sleep and satiety.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, and there is a nice life-saving feature that we have. And if your body thinks that it is in danger of dying, it's going to keep you awake to make sure that you take care of it.
yeah,
So
sleep is a
think about that.
very
Insomnia is a
energy-intensive
very
process.
important clue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then the other thing, real quick, is if you're on medications, particularly glucose-lowering medications, blood pressure medications, potentially psychiatric medications, and if you do want to experiment with fasting, just make sure you are in constant contact with a doctor because those may need to be adjusted.
Yes. Very good. Very good point.
So Paige says, wait, did you say you fasted for 1 week? Yes.
Yes. I've done it twice, actually. And then I've also done a 2-week fast. The 2-week fast was, it must have been in 2020 because it was shortly before my diagnosis. That's actually what led to my diagnosis. Is I had been fasting for quite a long time. Someone saw pictures and was like, you look like you might have lipedema from how you're losing weight from this. And then one frame of reference for the fasting for 1 week is I used to be about 80 pounds heavier. So at that point in time, and that was not all lipedema fat. A lot of that was actually healthy fat that I could access. And that made fasting super easy. The only issue with it was super boring. I can't do that anymore. I don't have enough fat to sustain that.
And
Paige, that is the type of thing that you need to have monitoring
yes,
by your healthcare provider. You don't just do a 1 week fast by yourself.
No, I was in contact with a specialist for all of the longer extended fasts. And it's something I don't necessarily think is necessary. I mostly did it because I was interested in it and I was collecting blood work and stuff at the time. But I tend to prefer like under 36-hour fasts just personally. And I know some clinicians who say like 36-hour fast throughout the week can be just as effective as longer fasts. So
yeah, that was a big one for me, I have to say, because a couple of years ago with Jason Fung, if you're interested in fasting, Jason Fung is the guru. He's a nephrologist from Canada, and he works with Megan Ramos and a couple of others. But I know Megan and Jason, Dr. Jason Fung, and they say 42 hours. So they are proponents of alternate day fasting. Because I had done very long-term fasting. I had fasted for 90 days at one point.
Oh boy.
Under medical supervision. But I was very determined at the time and a lot younger. A lot younger. A lot younger. You really, I just want to echo what Siobhan says. You really need to have a supervision.
Yes. Yeah. And this has been a wonderful get together once again, to talk to people about what's going on in their own lives and what's new and coming up in lipedema, and to hopefully share with you some tips and tools that can to benefit from you. So we look forward to being with you every Friday at this time, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, and we will see you again next Friday.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.